everyone. Welcome to Radiant Living, Inspiring Humanity to Thrive. I'm your host, Marisa B. And today I'm honored to have best-selling author of over 30 books, podcast host, high priestess, publicist, speaker, international speaker, blogger, Reiki master, and certified crystal therapist. I'd like to welcome today Rachel Patterson. Rachel, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for the invitation.
Oh, you're quite welcome. I'm truly honored to have you here. With such an illustrious career, I don't even know where to start, right? I'm going to give the floor over to you. Can you explain a little bit of how you got involved in all this? Because over 30 books, that's a tremendous amount of work.
I think I'm in a permanent state of organized chaos, which is my life. Witchcraft, I've been a witch for well over 30 odd years now. I was born on Halloween, so I'm guessing there was kind of a push in that direction. Always loved nature, always loved animals. 30 plus years ago, found a book in a thrift shop on witchcraft. That sounds interesting. Read it, thought, that's it, I'm home. So I started studying from there on in, pre-internet. So it was a bit difficult getting hold of material. I found the odd book or two, but that's what started my journey. And I still learning now, still learning all these years on. I have worked through the Wiccan degrees. That's how I gained my High Priestess title. But these days, more kitchen witch, hedge witch, going with whatever comes my way kind of thing. Books, that was totally accidental. That was 2012. I was reviewing books for a publisher, Moon Books. They were looking at a new series, Pagan Portals, and they were looking for suggestions on subjects. So I said, kitchen witchcraft, because that's my bag. The editor, Trevor, said to me, would you like to write it? When I'd got over being totally terrified about the whole idea, I did. And that set the ball rolling 31 books later.
Wow. Now, can you explain a little bit about Kitchen Witch? I know, right? So you said 2012 was the first book.
Yes. Yeah. Can't shut me
Can
up.
Can you explain a little bit about Kitchen Witch?
Certainly. I've always loved cooking, primarily baking. It's kind of my therapy. If I'm having a bad day, going in the kitchen and baking cakes or biscuits, cookies, whatever it might be, that's my happy place. I mean, I love the garden, I love nature, but cooking is my thing, baking. And you can bring magic into that. I work a lot with magical herbs. I guess most witches do. You pick the herb to go for the purpose, for the intent. You can do the same with all the ingredients in your kitchen cupboards, whether it's your spice rack, whether it is your bag of dried pasta or your bag of flour. All of it has magical energy. So I bring that into my cooking as well. But I also use the ingredients from the kitchen in my spell work. Everything for me has magic. That's one side of kitchen witchcraft. The other side is just basically using whatever you have to hand. Nothing fancy, no fancy tools, nothing expensive, just literally whatever you can get your hands on.
Now, are you finding that that's happening more and more? Not so many tools are needed, or not so much elaborate work.
I think
it's just really part of us every day, almost.
I think probably people, probably the same as me. You start out and you think, I've got this great big list that I need. I need athame and chalice and wand. And I had this enormous list when I first started. And again, pre-internet. So getting hold of that stuff was really difficult. But I think the more you get used to it, the more you realize that you don't need that. You can use a wooden spoon for a wand, or even your finger, which is what I tend to do. I do love a cauldron. I must admit, the cauldron that's my key piece of equipment. But even that, you could use a Dutch oven, a casserole dish, something like that. Yeah, I think you kind of go through all those stages. I still love nice, pretty things on my altar as well. But yeah, I think you realize you don't actually need all of that stuff.
Right. And now the first book you did was about kitchen witchery. Where did you go from there? Because 31 books, that's a lot of different topics, right? I mean, I'm sure you didn't only just do one. Yes.
I went from there to moon magic, which is another one of my, well, I guess most witches, most
Mhm.
spiritual people are
Mhm.
connected to the moon somehow. I did a Pagan Portals moon magic book, and then I went on a bit later to do an enormous moon magic book that you could use to prop your table up or prop your door open. It's enormous. I think it is something we all tap into in moon
Mhm.
magic. But I also did a sun magic as well, because I probably work equally with
Mhm.
sun magic as well as the moon magic, the phases, this it's layers, isn't it? Correspondences, all layering for your
Yes.
spell work and helping you live in tune as well
Mhm.
with those phases, those waves of energy.
Mhm. Yes, because it really is a part of us. And I
Yeah.
think when you're living that way for so long, and I think stumbling upon it for many who have, it's really only natural. It's almost as if everyone was already doing it or thinking that way, right? And then this was just a confirmation, finding
Yes.
some book or some one or some little note somewhere, and then you just naturally take it from there. And so it is true that the phases, whether it's sun or moon or both, I mean, it's all with us. I think it's
Yeah.
every day, really, right? Magic is in the everyday, really, and that's
Yeah.
how we're living.
Absolutely. I think that's taken me a while. And I think that's probably something a lot of people do. One of the questions I get asked most is, how do you find the time to be a witch?
Mm.
And my answer is always, I am a witch, no matter what I'm doing. There is no separate. I don't set times to be a witch. I'm just a witch whether I'm typing an email or cleaning the floor or washing the dishes. There's magic in it all. And that all melds together. But it did take me a while to work that out, to realize that's what I was doing and that's what I needed to do.
Yes. And now I do want to ask about a podcast. You are a podcast host. Can you explain a little bit about the podcast? And is it still on today?
It is. We've been going year and a half now. That's run by Moonbooks Publishing, and they asked me if I would be happy to host. I was very honoured to do so. We have 2 episodes every month.
Mhm.
Primarily, we interview Moonbooks authors,
Mhm.
but not limited to that. But we've had some fascinating authors on and some wonderful subjects, all within the pagan kind of umbrella.
Mhm. Mhm. And now the Moon Publishing is in the UK, but of course your
Yes.
books can be purchased anywhere because there's a long list of them. Can you tell me a little bit about where we can get them? For example, I'm sure audience members are going to ask, is it easily accessible to us here in the United States or really anywhere for that matter?
I actually work for Moonbooks Publishing, to be fair. They
Hmm.
employed me in January as publicist, but I'd already got a lot of books that I've written with them. They are based in the UK, but we do have an American outlet as well, Canadian as well. You
Hmm.
can get the books worldwide, and they're from all the usual places: Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Waterstones, all of the usual
Hmm.
places that you buy
Yes.
your books from. They are all easily and readily available. I've also had 3 books published through Llewellyn, and again, they're
Okay.
available
There.
through all the usual
Yes.
places.
Hmm. And now you had one book recently published within the last year, less than year, right? There's a new one out.
There is a new
Can
one.
you speak to that?
That one's Hedge Witch. That's actually published by a small independent publisher, Phoenix Flames, in the UK. And it is all about hedge witchcraft, which is quite a unique pathway. Hedge being the term that we use for the other world. Basically, you step over the hedge into the other world. So it involves hedge riding, which is stepping over that into that liminal space and connecting with otherworldly beings. Really, the hedge witch often has one foot completely in the other world.
Hmm.
Sometimes we're a bit spaced.
Oh, wow. Well, that's interesting too, because you hear the term often, but that's interesting to really understand what it's all about. And I'm wondering
The
how
hedge
many
is
hedge witches are there. Yeah. There must be
think
a
about the
lot.
hedge around a field or the hedge
Hmm.
around the sides of a pathway. It's a liminal space. It's a boundary between
Hmm.
two places. So the idea and the imagery of the hedge is that you step over it into that other place.
Hmm. And what do you say to people, because you're quite vocal? I mean, you've written so many books, you have the podcast, you, as you said, you are a witch, you live that way. What do you say to people that are fearful of that title?
It's interesting. I've been fairly lucky in that I haven't ever been met with any negative energy or negative response as such. There have been occasions where I've said, "Oh, I'm a witch," and people have laughed because they
Hmm.
haven't believed that it's actually a real thing.
Thing.
That's yeah, this is the whole Disney Hollywood thing that's come up again. I usually introduce myself as a
Hmm.
pagan because I find that word
Hmm.
kind of eases people into it. And then if, as I'm talking, if they are genuinely interested, then I can introduce the witchcraft side of it.
Hmm.
But it's lack of understanding, I think, isn't it? It's lack of knowledge about it. So you have to explain it a bit.
Yeah, I'm thinking, because I'm wondering here in the United States, I'm thinking that the terms still bring about some, I guess, fear from some
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
And
I
I'm
don't
wondering
think we
how
find
open you
that.
could be here, right?
Yeah, I
And
don't.
right in Great
We
Britain.
don't. We don't find it quite so bad. I
Mhm.
don't think. Sometimes you do get the reply, "Oh, are you a white witch?"
Yeah.
Which technically I'm not. I like to say I'm a grey witch. I walk that kind of line between. But that putting that word white witch that in front of
Hmm.
it seems to ease people a little bit.
Hmm.
So if that's yeah, if that's what I
Because I
that
guess everybody has, possibly many people have preconceived notions, right? So,
yes,
that's
absolutely.
often right where prejudice does come from. And so, when they hear the terms, I was on a show not that long ago, and it's a show that's run by witches, and many witches are on there. And when they asked me, because they ask everybody, what do you call yourself? Well, what do I call myself? I mean, I'm a human being, I'm a person, but I'm a practitioner. I like that term, practitioner, because
Nice.
um, I like to incorporate everything that has to do with nature. So, and with spirituality. And yet I don't condemn anyone who has another term for themselves.
No,
I feel that everybody has the right to use whatever they want, um, to call themselves.
absolutely.
And I know there's a push nowadays. They call it magic with no tools, or magic, plain magic, without any tools or instruments, and that is a very real path. But others who want to use more, I don't want to say theatrical, but more physical,
Ceremonial.
right? Physical
Ceremonial.
ceremonial
Mm.
products and so forth. That's their
Oh, go
right.
for it. Yes,
Right. Yes,
absolutely.
exactly. And so how do you find, because you're in the UK, it's a little bit different. Do you find that more people are practicing, or they always were and now they're just more apt to say it that they
I
are?
think,
How do you?
yeah. I think there's been a rise. I think there has been a rise that the internet opened up so many doorways to people.
Hmm.
When was first learning, I thought I was the only pagan witch in my area. I wasn't. Obviously, there's a lot of us, but because of the
Hmm.
lack of communication and connection,
Hmm.
I wasn't aware of it. It's funny, isn't it, that the word druid seems to be accepted quite a lot easier
Yes.
as well. And we've got a huge Druid
Yes.
community in the UK.
Hmm.
But I think it's all grown and I think it's continuing to grow. But I also think it's about getting that message out there that we aren't evil, uh,
Hmm.
that we are. I think it's whatever label you give it, whether it's witch, pagan,
Yeah.
druid, whatever you want to call yourself, the root is nature, isn't it? I think the root is
Hmm.
connecting with the energy of nature, looking after the planet, looking after the people that are on it. And that for me is the core of it. It doesn't matter what label you give
Yes.
yourself. The core of it is that we are all connected by
Hmm.
that nature web.
Yes, exactly. And that's and we want that to be
Yeah.
the theme, right, of the planet, because it serves all of us well, and the planet included, and it's important to do that. And I think that that's really the most important message. Right? It doesn't matter what you label yourself, or how often you may use one tool over another, or
Yeah.
whatever you're doing. It doesn't matter. It's the spreading of the light, and spreading of all of the good, and the positive vibes for everybody, which
Yes.
sometimes seems a daunting task, right? Sometimes it's very daunting, and it gets sometimes people get frustrated, because would that we could all live that way, right, harmoniously, in any belief that we would
It's a
we would so
dream.
choose. Yes, it
It's a
is, right? It's
dream.
a big dream. It's a big dream. And now you also speak. You're also a public speaker. So you go around well, I know that the pandemic has changed a lot for many people. And so there's more things going online, even though people are stepping out more now after all these years. But do you go out to the public as well? Because you're so busy. I mean, you're working for the publishing house, you're writing all the time. Do you actually go out and speak as well?
Yes. I think you're right. The pandemic did change things, but I think in a way it changed it for the better. We started I started a weekly online chat during the pandemic, really for myself to connect, because we'd
Mhm.
lost that connection of meeting up with
Mhm.
everybody. And I've kept it up, and I still do that every Friday morning. My coven, along with two ladies, Ness and Heather, who help run the Kitchen Witch Coven with me, we do a lot of online workshops and a lot of online talks. But it's nice to go out to the festivals now.
Mhm.
They've all started opening up again,
Mhm.
and meet people in person. And I give
Mhm.
talks and we run workshops. We've got quite a nice collection of
Mhm.
pagan events and festivals throughout the UK. So it's nice to make that human connection with people. Although I am a bad pagan, I don't like
Yeah.
camping.
Yo, you don't,
No.
I must confess, I only started that in my adulthood, and I have to camp in a kind of building. A 30-foot. I have to take
Yes.
a 30-foot building with me to go camping. And that's only recently. So I do understand. Um, have you been to Glastonbury? That was this past month, right?
The glass,
That's a big
yeah,
event.
no, too many people, not
Too many,
enough
yes.
facilities for me.
Yes.
Yeah, not enough toilets for me. It's a well-known festival. It's actually
Yes.
not in Glastonbury town. It's
Right.
outside of Glastonbury town, but Glastonbury town is a very
Hmm.
interesting place to
Hmm.
visit. But no, the festival, too many people for me.
Yes, and it gets hundreds of thousands of
Yeah,
people that attend.
yeah,
Yes, and so I
yeah,
can imagine that's why they're not having it in Glastonbury in the town,
yeah.
because
It's
where
too
would you put
small.
it? You need to be out. Yes, you need to be on
Yeah,
the outskirts for that, and it is a huge
yes,
festival.
it
But
is.
and I do want to ask you, because you mentioned that originally many years ago you found a book in a thrift shop and you began to read it, and you are a high priestess, and you followed some of the more traditional, I guess, steps to becoming that. Can you tell me,
Mm.
because there are many people who follow just the goddess, and then there are others that follow I don't want to say a more traditional path, but one that was there before, or one that was known before goddess
Yeah,
came rising.
yeah.
Yes.
I pick and mix the bits that work for me. My Wiccan training was the god and the goddess. It was the balance of both those energies. It was very structured, and brilliantly, because it gave me an excellent foundation in ritual structure, spell working structure, and it gained me my high priestess title, which is wonderful. I do now work a lot more with folk magic. I tend to work a lot more with English deities who are very difficult to find,
Hmm.
but it is folklore. Folklore magic is fascinating. I
Hmm.
think it's quite important to research your own area as well. And
Hmm.
when you're doing that, you find folklore and traditions that you can follow
Hmm.
and work with. So I kind of take a mix of everything, because I like working with the folk magic.
Hmm.
I work with gods and goddesses, whoever comes my way, because
Hmm.
usually they find us, don't they? We don't,
Hmm.
it's not
Yes.
usually the other way around. But
True.
I also still draw on my Wiccan training, particularly for
Hmm.
things like ritual, because the Wiccan ritual structure
Hmm.
works so well.
Hmm.
So I kind of pick and mix all of the bits from the
Hmm.
various traditions and pathways that I've looked at and make my own from it.
Right. And I think that's almost the most important part because I know that just like any other path that people walk on, there could be some politics involved, and there has been before. And some people argue about which is more traditional, which is better, which is the correct route. And so that sometimes gets in the way. I
Yeah.
think, and I'm not sure if that happens in the UK a lot. It's happened
Oh,
here
yeah.
again recently. It happened a long time ago uh in the United States that had started. And it seemed to I guess have a short lull, but recently it started up again. And because of the
We're
internet,
human
it's
beings,
more.
aren't we?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. We're human beings. We
Right.
like to argue.
Mhm.
But yeah, you're
That's
right.
true.
The internet allows people to be
Hmm.
braver, perhaps, than they would
Yes,
do normally. I think this is your spiritual pathway. It's not just
yes,
your magical pathway, it's your spiritual pathway. And I think that's very, very personal. So it has to
yes.
work for you. And I don't think anyone else can understand how you
Hmm.
walk it, so that if it feels right to you, trust your
Hmm.
intuition. It will never let you down. If it feels hinky, don't do it.
Yes. Right. That, and I have to wholeheartedly agree, and also say that because it's so personal and an individual path, really no one should be talking about someone else's path because we
So
have we have all to do to keep ourselves on our own path. So we really shouldn't be talking about anybody else's path. We have no time to worry about anybody else's path.
no.
There's no, right? There are not enough hours. I don't know about anybody else. There's not enough hours in the day for me to worry about anybody else. I'm lucky I got to worry about
Exactly.
myself, right? So that's how I
Exactly.
view it. And everybody has a
Yeah,
right to believe what they want to believe and do what they want to do as long as they
absolutely.
don't harm anyone else.
Yep.
But I do know that that can come into play. And as we said, the internet has allowed, even sometimes anonymously, for people to perhaps vent or
Yeah.
or maybe bicker about their beliefs as
That's a
opposed to other people's. Yes,
polite
yes,
way of putting it. Yes.
yeah, yeah. But I know that it's happened here recently again, and there was a storm of this going on. And but for the most part, it is a spiritual path,
Yeah.
just like any other spiritual path. I think that from a logical standpoint, as much as you can say logic in spirituality, in the maybe the unknown or the unseen, but from a logical standpoint, it allows one to participate more than
Yeah.
sitting back. I think that
Yes.
that has a lot to do with it. Um, People are more participants than just observers. And I think that it's an active way of living on the planet
Yes.
because you very
Yeah.
much are active in everything that you do. If you're trying to follow any spiritual path, I think, because you're taking that responsibility yourself and you're moving in the world actively.
I think the key word there for me is responsibility. We all need to take responsibility for our words, our actions, what we're putting out there, what we're doing. Responsibility is key for me in the mundane as well as in the
Yes.
magical world.
Hmm. Yes, exactly. And that's why I think that because it is more participatory, it's all encompassing. It's our everyday life, and we're
Yeah.
taking it along with us, rather than observing once a week or once a month or so many times a year, um, someone else doing possibly ritual or um, bringing us to a certain facility uh, every so often to hear them, and we sit back passively. I think that maybe that's the reason why it's moving more in the spiritual vein because people are participating and bringing it into their life, everyday life, as you said. I mean,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call yourself, it's with you all the time. You're
All
doing
the
it every
time.
day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. It doesn't
Absolutely.
doesn't it doesn't go by the wayside because that's how you're trying to live. Which brings me to, where are you going next? Because 31 books, my gosh, I know, I mean, I've seen all the titles, I've read some of them, not all of them, and I know that they're wonderful, and you've done this for so long. Do you have another book plan? Because what's the title of the most recent book? That was, that the Hedge Witch one
That was the
recently came
Hedge
out?
Witch. Yes,
Yes.
yeah. That was earlier this. No, it was end of last year.
Yes.
I've got just one book coming. No, I lie. I've got two books coming out this year. I've got one called Prosperity Magic, which is coming out in November, and that's based on, I write a regular column for Fate and Fortune, one of the general
Yes.
magazines in the UK. So I've taken all of the prosperity magic, because that's the subject for it, and put it in a book. That's coming out in November. I've got one secret project that comes out in October that I'm not allowed to talk about yet, but that's another book. I have got several contracts on various things. I'm just running out of time at the moment to write anything for them.
That's what I was going to ask you. How do you do it? I mean, you're working for the publishing house. You have so much going on. I mean, you have to be completely organized to do that. I mean, this is a really practical question, because you really are prolific in writing and in everything else that you do. And so, I'm sure the audience wants to know, like, what does your week look like? I'm sure you work on a calendar. What does your week actually look like? From a work week standpoint, what does it look like for you?
I am lucky to be able to work from home, so that's one of the bonuses. Yeah, I have to-do lists. I have, this is priority, this has really got to be done this week, and then unfortunately the books get moved a little bit further down those, particularly now that I am the publicist for Moon Books, because looking after the other authors is one of my priorities. Kitchen Witch School, I'm very lucky that I have Ness and Heather, who pretty much run it. I just sort of pop my head in every so often.
Yes.
They run with that. But it has to be organized. I do literally work. I try and work office hours so that I am present. Sometimes it has to be a bit flexible. If I'm chatting with people on the other side of the globe, obviously, time zones. But yeah, it has to be a list of priorities, and sometimes they get, shoved around. But yeah, lists. I have a lot of lists.
Yes.
And a diary.
I mean, that's
Live by the diary.
Right?
Yeah,
right. I mean, that's everything, right? I mean, in order to be organized, we have to be right on the calendar or the diary. Absolutely. Because, and even though you can move things around, you still have to be organized to get things done. Yeah. I mean, and as you said, you're actually looking after other writers now, other authors, and that, I would assume, is a tremendous job, I would assume, right? Because many personalities. Yeah.
Oh, but I love it. And I hope that because I'm an author myself, it perhaps gives me a different perspective. So I do see it from the author's point of view as well. And I can bring that to the table. But I love being able to help them promote their work as well. There's some very talented people out there. And it's a bit of an honor, really, to be able to promote their work.
Now, are your books on audio for people?
Some of them are. There's 4 of them that are on audio. Very lovely friend of mine from America actually recorded them for me and put them on audio. But yeah, just 4 of them at the minute.
So now tell me, so if someone wanted to be, well, because you're so busy, but you have a website. I definitely will list everything in the description. I want to just forewarn everybody, the description is going to be very long, because I like to also list at least some of the books, or because otherwise it would go on for pages. But I like for people to be able to possibly click on the link and then get to there. So I know you have a website, but I know you're very busy. So really your time is limited. And as you said, because you have a school also. So there's also a link for that. Can you give us the link, first of all, for your website? That's the first.
If you go to my website, rachelpatterson.co.uk, you'll find everything is linked from there. So if there's just one place to go to, it's rachelpatterson.co.uk, and it's all there. I am busy, but I will also say I think witchcraft should be shared. I think by sharing our magic, by sharing our experiences, is how we all learn. So if anybody ever has any questions or would like any help, please reach out. If I can help, I will do.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful and very kind of you to say that. And now, what about on social media? Because you do have social media sites, but do you have any groups on social media? Because I can't imagine how you have time to do that also, since you have so much going on.
We do. We have a Kitchen Witch Coven Facebook group, which myself and the girls run, and that is a wonderful community of people. They're all brilliant on there. If someone has a question, everyone will pile in and help and support each other. So that is the Kitchen Witch Coven on Facebook.
On
We also
Facebook.
have yeah, we have YouTube, we have Instagram
Yes.
as well.
Yes. So I will actually list those links as well in the
Thank you.
description. And oh, you're quite welcome. And then what about because you have the group now, that's an open public group. Well, not necessarily public, but you have to be accepted to be in. Is that how it is on
Yeah.
Facebook? Yeah.
Yes. Just to weed out the spam ones.
Right, right. Yes, because every once in a while that gets in too. And
Yeah.
then right, so that's out there. But then you mentioned briefly that you do have a coven yourself. And
Yeah,
now do you
we
meet
have
regularly? Do you
that's
meet
part of
regularly?
the school, so it's
Hmm.
generally online because we've got students
Hmm.
across the world,
Hmm.
but we've got a separate private forum for that where everyone can meet and connect
Right.
and chat with each other.
Hmm. So you don't meet on a regular basis in person.
Not since the pandemic.
Right, right. Yeah. And I would assume because now there are so many people all over the world too, because
Yeah,
it has
it
opened up for so many people, right? I say that.
yeah,
Mm, the opportunity, at first I was not crazy about it. I was for as a psychologist and having clients, I was forced to have to use a telehealth because of HIPAA rules in the United
right.
States. I had to have a certain type of platform that I needed for the clients while we were in the lockdown, but I was not happy about it. But then I realized that really it's a tool because people could be
Yes,
all over the planet and think that they're all alone, especially those
yes,
that may feel not only all alone, but alienated, isolated. And then this is really their lifeline in some
yes.
instances. And then I realized that it was really, it can be a wonderful tool
Yeah,
for
it did.
people.
It opened up connections. So
Yes.
our community is now built of people from across the globe, but also people that perhaps can't get out of their house for any
Hmm.
reason or um, are uncomfortable in crowds or that kind of thing. It does. It opens the doors for anyone and everyone to be part of a community.
And then the podcast, where can people listen to the podcast?
That's on all the usual places, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, all of the usual places you'll find a podcast.
Mhm. So we can list that as well because I'm sure people want to listen to it. I mean, I know you mentioned that it was primarily authors that are being published by Moon Publishing, but um, there's still plenty to listen to and
Oh,
learn.
they're all
Yes.
interesting subjects. Yes,
Mhm.
absolutely.
Yes. And I would like to thank you so much for coming on the show. I'm so thrilled that you were able to give me a little bit of time because I know how very busy you are. And as I said, it's such an illustrious career to take time to come out to speak to the audience. I appreciate it, especially from
My pleasure.
across the planet here, with the different time zone because I think you're later than we are. So I do appreciate it.
Yeah, I think we're about 6 hours different. So
Yes. Yes. And one thing I'd like to ask, what would you like to leave the audience with? Because you've been a witch for many years and so involved in the community, what would you like to say to the audience that's out there?
that there is a community, that you are never alone, especially now with all of the internet and all of the connections. You are never alone. You just need to reach out, but also trust your intuition. It will never let you down.
Well, I want to thank you again, Rachel. It was
My
wonderful to have you
pleasure.
on. Hopefully, we can speak again sometime.
Definitely.
Thank you. You take care.
Thank you. Been a pleasure.
Bye now. Bye now.
Bye bye.